Welcome to another episode of the Human Meme Podcast. I'm AI David Boles, and along with our crackpot AI research team, we'll embark on a captivating exploration of beauty's ever-changing landscape. Our journey? Exploring the evolution of beauty, a 1,000-year journey through hair, eyes, and facial aesthetics. Will weave through the intricate tapestry of time, uncovering how perceptions of physical beauty have been sculpted by the hands of history, culture, and human nature. In this exploration, we'll wander into the nuanced transformation of beauty ideals, tracing the contours of eyes and lips, the architecture of noses and cheeks, and the flowing or cropped crowns of hair that have defined eras. As we traverse through the ages, we'll see how the societal and cultural lenses have colored our perceptions of beauty, shifting from the cherubic cheeks of the Renaissance to the high cheekbones and defined eyebrows of today. We'll ponder over the high foreheads of medieval times, the elaborate hairdos of the Victorians, and the bold lip forms that have spoken volumes across generations. Join me, your host on this philosophical journey, as we dissect these aesthetic shifts, not just as changes in style, but as reflections of the human condition. Each strand of hair, each curve of a lip, tells a story of its time, of its struggles, triumphs, and underlying values. We're not merely discussing beauty, we're unraveling the DNA of our past, understanding how our ancestors viewed themselves and their place in the world, and how this mirrors our current perspectives. So let's step into this visual time machine, viewing the past through the lens of beauty, and unravel the threads that connect us to our ancestors. Understanding that in this rich history lies a mirror to our own times, our own struggles, and our own perception of beauty. This is Human Meme, where we delve into the essence of being human in a world that's constantly redefining itself. In our want to understand who dictates the standards of beauty and what triggers changes in these standards, we venture into a complex interplay of social, cultural, and psychological factors. The arbiter of beauty is not a singular entity, but a mosaic of influences that shape our perceptions and ideals. Historically, the arbiters of beauty have often been those in positions of power and influence. In ancient times, this might have been royalty or the aristocracy, whose styles and preferences set trends for the rest of society. In more recent history, the rise of mass media, including cinema, television, and now social media, has shifted this power. Celebrities, fashion designers, and influencers, backed by powerful media and marketing industries, play significant roles in defining and disseminating beauty standards. However, it's crucial to recognize that public mood and societal values also play a crucial role. Beauty standards are often a reflection of the broader social and economic conditions of the time. For example, in times of economic hardship, robust and fuller body types have sometimes been idealized as symbols of wealth and abundance. Conversely, in times of prosperity, beauty standards may lean towards slimmer body types, possibly reflecting a society's focus on leisure and fitness. This dynamic can be seen as both a cycle and a cause. It's cyclical in the sense that societal values and beauty standards influence each other. It's a cause because shifts in societal attitudes, such as changing views on gender roles or health, can directly lead to a redefinition of what is considered beautiful. Several triggers can instigate changes in beauty standards. Technological advancements like the advent of color film and high-definition video have altered how we see and depict beauty. Globalization has also played a significant role, as exposure to different cultures broadens and diversifies beauty ideals. Moreover, socio-political movements such as those for body positivity or against racial discrimination actively challenge and reshape traditional beauty norms. The standards of beauty are a complex web of influences that include historical precedents, societal values, economic conditions, technological advancements, and the prevailing power structures. These standards are not static. They are continually evolving, reflecting the ever-changing tapestry of human society and its diverse expressions of beauty. So let's begin to consider the notion of a universal theory of physical beauty. This concept implies that there exists a set of standards or criteria universally accepted and recognized as embodying beauty. Historically, certain physical attributes have been consistently valued across various cultures. Symmetry, for instance, is often cited in this context. Scientific studies suggest that humans generally find symmetrical faces more attractive. This preference is not just cultural. It's believed to be evolutionary, rooted in the perception of symmetry as a sign of health and good genes. However, the quest for a universal theory stumbles when we encounter the vast diversity of human cultures and their evolving standards of beauty. Beauty is remarkably context-dependent. What is revered in one culture may be overlooked or even disdained in another. Consider the historical use of corsets in Western societies to achieve a narrow waist, contrasted with the lip plates of the Mursi tribe in Ethiopia, both seen as beauty standards in their respective cultures. Over the last 1,000 years, the concept of physical beauty has undeniably evolved and shifted. In medieval Europe, for example, fair skin was a coveted trait, symbolizing wealth and a life of leisure away from labor in the sun. Contrast this with today's Western world, where tanned skin is often associated with health and vitality. Similarly, the Renaissance celebrated fuller-bodied figures, as seen in the paintings of Rubens, signaling wealth and abundance. Today, many societies prize a leaner physique. This transformation in beauty standards can largely be attributed to changes in societal values, technological advancements, and global interconnectedness. The media plays a significant role in shaping and disseminating these ideals. With the advent of photography and later digital media, the proliferation of beauty standards has accelerated, influencing perceptions worldwide. But let's think deeper. The idea of beauty isn't just a social construct. It's a deeply personal experience. What we perceive as beautiful can be a reflection of our own experiences, values, and desires. It's a mirror that reflects not just the object of beauty, but also the observer. In analyzing this subject, we must acknowledge the role of power dynamics in establishing and perpetuating beauty standards. Historically, dominant groups have often imposed their standards on others, leading to a homogenization of beauty ideals. This phenomenon can have profound implications, affecting individuals' self-esteem and social status. In our journey through the shifting sands of physical beauty over the last millennium, we find an enthralling ideal of human aesthetics, shaped by culture, geography, and time. The physical attributes such as eyes, noses, facial structure, body type, muscle, fat, fitness, and obesity have all undergone remarkable transformations in their perceived beauty. Let's explore these aspects more closely. Historically, eye color has been a fascinating aspect of beauty, with different cultures valuing different hues. For instance, in some European cultures, light-colored eyes such as blue or green have often been prized, potentially due to their relative rarity. Conversely, in other parts of the world, darker eyes have been seen as the epitome of beauty. The shape of the eyes, too, has undergone its own journey in the beauty landscape. The elongated, almond-shaped eyes were celebrated in much of Asian art, while large, wide eyes have been a recurring theme in Western art, especially during the Renaissance and again in the big-eyed art movements of the 20th century. The perception of nose shapes has seen notable shifts. In ancient times, Roman and Greek cultures idealized strong, straight noses, which influenced European beauty standards for centuries. The Renaissance period saw a preference for small, delicate noses. Today, there's a growing movement towards accepting all nose shapes, though cosmetic surgery for nose reshaping remains popular, indicating the continued influence of certain beauty ideals. The ideal nose structure has varied significantly. In ancient Greece and Rome, strong aquiline noses were seen as noble and aesthetically pleasing. During the Renaissance in Europe, smaller, straight noses were preferred, a trend that has continued to some extent into modern times, as seen in the popularity of rhinoplasty procedures. From the full, rounded faces of the Renaissance beauties to the chiseled jawlines and high cheekbones admired in many modern cultures, facial structure preferences have evolved significantly. The 20th and 21st centuries have seen a trend towards a more angular and lean facial structure, often associated with fitness and health. Hair color preferences have also shifted dramatically. During the Elizabethan era in England, red hair was highly fashionable, partly influenced by Queen Elizabeth I. In contrast, the 18th century saw European aristocracy often favor powdered white wigs, regardless of their natural hair color. The 20th and 21st centuries have seen a fluctuation in preferred hair colors, with blondes often glorified in popular media, although there is now a growing appreciation for all hair colors in their natural state. Throughout history, hairstyle has been a powerful symbol of identity and beauty. In ancient civilizations like Greece and Rome, elaborately styled hair was a sign of wealth and status. The Renaissance period saw women wearing their hair in intricate updos, often adorned with jewels. The Victorian era favored long, flowing hair for women, symbolizing femininity and grace. In contrast, the 1920s brought the flapper era, where short bobs became a statement of modernity and liberation. The latter half of the 20th century saw a plethora of hairstyles and lengths, from the beehives of the 60s to the layered cuts of the 70s and 80s, reflecting the diversity and individualism of those times. Eyebrows have also seen their share of stylistic changes. Thin, finely arched eyebrows were popular in the 1920s and 1930s, while the 1980s celebrated thicker, more natural brows. Today, there's a trend towards well-defined but natural-looking eyebrows, a shift from the extremely thin brows seen in the late 90s and early 2000s. In the Middle Ages, a high forehead was often considered a sign of beauty, leading some women to pluck their hairlines to achieve this look. Cheek shape has varied from the rounded cherubic cheeks favored in the Renaissance, symbolizing health and youth, to the high, prominent cheekbones often idolized in contemporary beauty standards. The ideal mouth shape and lip form have fluctuated significantly. The Renaissance favored small, delicate mouths, while the early 20th century saw an emphasis on fuller lips, popularized by film stars. The late 20th and early 21st centuries have seen a fascination with voluminous lips, partly influenced by celebrity culture and advancements in cosmetic procedures. This is perhaps where the most dramatic shifts are seen. The voluptuous figures of the Renaissance era, symbolizing wealth and fertility, gave way to the slender flapper style of the 1920s. The mid-20th century saw an emphasis on curvier figures, epitomized by movie stars like Marilyn Monroe. Today, there's a wide array of body types celebrated, from the lean and athletic to the full-figured, although societal pressures and media representation still lean heavily towards slimmer body types. The last century has seen a significant shift towards valuing fitness and muscle tone, especially in Western cultures. The athletic body is often seen as an ideal signifying health, discipline, and vigor. This is a stark contrast to earlier centuries, where extra weight was often a sign of wealth and social status, as it indicated an abundance of food and a sedentary lifestyle. Historically, obesity was sometimes seen as a sign of wealth and prosperity, as it was uncommon among the lower classes who engaged in manual labor and had less access to abundant food. However, in modern times, obesity is often stigmatized, largely due to health concerns and a cultural shift towards valuing fitness and athleticism. Other aspects of physical beauty that have seen shifts include the complexion, where pale skin was often associated with wealth and status, as it indicated a life not spent laboring outdoors. This preference reversed in the 20th century, with tanned skin becoming desirable in many Western cultures, symbolizing leisure and the luxury of travel. Similarly, body types have fluctuated from the voluptuous figures idealized in the Renaissance to the slender, athletic forms often celebrated today. These changes in beauty standards are not merely aesthetic choices, but are deeply embedded in the social, economic, and cultural fabric of their times. They reflect the prevailing attitudes, values, and even the technological advancements of their eras. For example, the rise of Hollywood and the global spread of Western media in the 20th century had a profound impact on global beauty standards, often promoting Western features and body types. As we analyze these shifts, it becomes apparent that beauty standards are not static, but are continually shaped and reshaped by the tides of history, culture, and societal norms. They are a reflection of the human desire to express identity, status, and belonging, often influenced by the dominant power structures of the time. This historical perspective reminds us that beauty is a concept far more complex and varied than a mere set of physical traits. It is a window into the human condition and its ever-changing ideals. As we close our exploration through the corridors of time, reflecting on the evolution of physical beauty, we are left with a profound understanding of its universality and variability. From the eyes that have gazed with varying shades of desire, to the lips that have spoken the language of beauty in myriad forms, each feature narrates a chapter of human history. The ever-changing styles of hair, the arch of eyebrows, the contour of cheeks, and the shape of noses. All these elements are not just mere physical attributes, but symbols of an era's identity, molded by the hands of culture, society, and underlying beliefs. This journey has revealed that beauty is not a static, monolithic ideal, but a fluid concept, ebbing and flowing with the tides of time and human experience. It transcends mere aesthetics, embodying the essence of the times, the aspirations of societies, and the continuous evolution of humanity itself. In understanding the past's ideals of beauty, we gain insight into our own era's values and perhaps a foresight into the future's perception of beauty. This is the essence of our shared human experience, where putting it all together becomes significant and telling as the next in the grand narrative of human existence. For the Human Meme Podcast, I'm AI David Boles, wishing you a beautiful day and a gracious tomorrow. Be a human meme.